So good afternoon once again. Okay. First of all, so the topic is about, I'm going to talk about 8 topics about the location and background of Chan Nuea, the village. So this village is located in Luang Prabang city in Jompek district, 30 kilometers away, 30 kilometers from the city center, and the north is it shares the borders of Take district, south in Dendan, in the west it's in the Mekong River, and the east and the mountains and forest. And Nuea district is a village. It's about the tools used for the pottery activities of Chan Nuea community. The first one is a hammer to it's a kind of sparrow. It's like we used to. It's a rolling wheels like to put the materials in the pottery. The fifth one is a piece of cloth to provide more details, and the sixth one is a fan, is a wooden fan. So the tools are made from the know-how from the community. We don't buy from the outside the community. So the next point is about the process of the production. The first one, after we dig the earth from the source of, we took the clay. So we dry the clay for 5 or 6 days, and then so we mix the clay with the water for 1 night, and the fifth one, and we make and then we put into before we use this clay for the pottery production. So it's the process of production, different steps, different for the production. This is the is the process of production. Is the handmade, is the process for the handmade production. The first one, after we use the machine to shape. Now partly we use handmade base, and then and we use the hammer to make it, to define the shape and to refine the shapes of, and we use another tools to make a circle and to adjust the level of the heights of the pottery, and then we push different layers, and they put different layers, and they use the fan to refine the last shape until after we come up to the last stage, which is the final shape of the product. It's about the process of burning. After we have the final shape of the pottery, so we let the pottery dry for 4 or 5 days. So we line up all the pottery based on the skill of the craftsman, from the biggest one to the smaller one. We line up the products and to come up with a high quantity of the pot, and then we start burning process. So it's about the soil oven. So we digged with a depth of 4 or 5 meters, and the length of the oven it's about 6 or 7 meters, and the height is about 1 meter high. Until we reach until we reach the ends of the burning step, 20 that lasts for 27, almost 30. So the temperature can reach 1,000 degrees Celsius. It's about the source of the raw materials. These the earth that they supported that the youth supported to the community in 2004, because in the past because the villagers did their pottery in their own house. So after 2003, 2004, there's a project from the EU to support to buy the earth for the community and establish a kind of community center specific and to produce the pottery at the same place. So it's about the source of the raw material. It's about the log that we use to burn, and 70% come from the Mekong River. So the villagers collect the logs in June or during the rainy season, during the high tide, and when we collect the logs from the river to be used during the cold season. So the risks for the community, first one, the practitioners, they can become less and less, and then young people doesn't see the importance of the pottery, because when they have the graduations, they don't like pottery because it's considered as a good, not this occupation doesn't generate income. So now the land becomes now to less land. It's quite now it's impossible to get the clay from the state land. So the objective of this project, first one, is to the youth to see the importance and significance of the pottery activities, and to provide training to the youth in the community. Second, to propose this project to the international organization and state authority to provide logs and clays to the sustainable and to build and generate new generations to continue this activity. The solution now, to submit to the state agency, the international relation, to provide the source of raw materials. Second, and to provide logs to be used for the burning, and to provide training to the youth community to see the importance of the pottery. So in terms of the activities, it's about coordination with the local authority for the training for the youth, and to inform the importance of the pottery to the youth in the community, and to organize a platform for discussion with the youth, and to organize a training. So it's about the time frame for running the project. So we are going to run the project for 6 months. So we started by data collection in October this year. So we may organize training in March 22 according to the plan. So the budget, the overall budget for the project is about 36 million, including the recruitment of the skill for Minecraft, especially we have a skill in pottery to help us in providing training to the youth and community and to build the pottery skill. So for the expected outcome from this project, one, the ICH in pottery has become sustainable. The community has the source of raw materials can be used for the pottery activities. Third one, we can provide employment to the community. Fourth one, we can generate generate income for the community. So I would like to end my presentation for now. Thank you for your kind attention. If your mentor or coach you have anything to ask, or you have any questions, you are welcome to do so. Thank you. The last team.
And project ideas. May I invite 3 commentators? One is our honorary commentator today is also one of the trainers, Dr. Barita. Second one would be Mark from Lone Buffalo, and we would end with Tan Sang Thong from World Heritage Office in Luang Prabang. อาจารย์ Barita ค่ะขอเชิญค่ะ
ค่ะขอบคุณมากค่ะ
Thank you very much.
ก็สำหรับกลุ่มนี้ก็มีความ
For this group, it's quite interesting group.
แล้วก็มีเป็นครั้งแรกนะคะที่เรา
It's the first time that I've talk about the pottery, especially among those groups. So it's quite special components. I would like to congratulate this group for this topic. So what you discussed or you presented, we did not receive sufficient information or data, especially the pottery for the pottery of the Baan Chan community. What is the significance of the pottery for the community? What is the value of the pottery? What is special value for the community? Besides making a professional activities, it's not clear to us what are they produce for themselves or they produce for the commercial purpose.
จากที่เคยฟังนำเสนอ
Because from what I listened for the previous time, actually this group has a very interesting historical data, but you didn't present today. You mentioned about because they are legend, because that pottery has existed during the Chao Fangom king, and there's a legend. Yeah, when we have when the king has a ceremony, the king because they say that there's one place that very, very good quality of soil on earth. So the king requested to use the earth to produce pottery. I don't know I don't know whether you understood properly, because there is a legend, there's a storytelling about the background of the pottery, especially Baan Chan. Chan, is it utensil? I don't know what they say utensil, because Chan is a plate. Could you please respond to the question from the comment? Yes, for Baan Chan, Chan means they used to have 2 names. It used to be called Poseidon, because Poseidon is on the mountain. But after the Baan Chan get burned, or and so the villagers move to another place, and they move to the another village, Nam Chat, in the north of because the river is called Nam Chan. Is a northern part of the Nam Chan River. So the legend that says that it comes from the Phang king, and the king requested the villagers to use the earth to produce. Is it the legend? Is it a local legend or not? Yes, it is. Because after the king, Phang king united the kingdom, and he ordered the villagers to prepare for items to celebrate the United Kingdom. So they send the orders to different directions, to the south, to the north, to the east, to the west, and Siengen.
ค่ะขอบคุณค่ะคือกำลังจะถ้าเข้าใจตามนี้นะคะก็จะบอกว่า
if I understand properly, I think it's a big issue that we have to present, because the legend, because it's about the memory, is a memory of the Chan Nuea, this village, that since ancient time, because we don't have you don't have any historical information to confirm, but you are using the memories of the community, because we talk about the cultural heritage is about the memories of the people, memories of the community. So it's if it is linked to long-standing history, you have to refer to this information in your presentation, because you refer to memory of the community. So I think that is important value that you have to keep if you include in your presentation, and of course it reflects the identity of the community, because it doesn't happen anyway. It make this village special, and it refers to the cultural heritage of the people. If you talk about cultural heritage, there needs something. There should be something that make the village special, unique. Part of that is the memory of the community. So I think we need to pick up this information and to uphold the information in your presentation, because
มันเป็นอะไรอ่ะผลิตภัณฑ์น่ะนะมันเป็นสินค้าอันนั้นก็สำคัญนะ
Of course, we also need to mention that this pottery has economic value, but it's not sufficient. We need to add that it also has the sentimental and historical value, which is true, because I think we need to expand this. And of course, when you organize the training, we need to refer to this sentimental value for normal people to see the important significance, the links of the pottery to the history of the village.
เห็นจากไอ้อุปกรณ์ที่น้องเสนอนะคะ
So I saw from the list of the tools, quite interesting, because the tools are used for is a primitive tools. It's very old and primitive. Because I want to see the tools to make the motif, or because in the Museum of Pottery, especially, it's quite interesting to have this kind of the tools.
เด็กน้อยลิ้นบางเรื่องเขาแกะลายเอามักลายได้เขาสามารถแกะ
Because if you want to create any motif, you can use the wheels of the toys,
นำไม้หรือว่า
and which you use the woods or I think the purpose of doing this is to provide motif to the. Is a very primitive is a primitive technology that you used 1,000 years ago. Because if we want people to be interested in these techniques, especially for the production of pottery, in addition to produce different shapes or their form, we need to make people understand about the old techniques or the primitive techniques that people use. To use the oven that by digging in the ground or using different tools. So I don't know whether we use a kind of stone
หรือว่าใช้ไม้ตี
or are using only the stick, the wooden stick to no we don't. How do you make the shape of it? So we use you just use the hand. If you want to make a shape out of pottery, for example, just use the hands.
ไม่ได้ใช้ไม้ตีหรือว่าไม่ได้ใช้
We don't use we are not using the wooden stick. No,
สไตล์คืองู
because we can make the shape of the pottery by using your hand, which is by using the spinning table, and you make the shape of the pot.
ใช้ขอขึ้นมาอย่างเดียวเหรอไม่
We
ได้
just put it up.
ให้มันเป็นทรงใช่ไหมฮะลองถามก็ได้มันอาจจะมี
So you may know you may ask the question because you may find primitive tools if you want to present to external people because it's a source of production using primitive tools.
ที่ใช้เทคโนโลยีโบราณเนาะที่อาจจะมีหลายร้อยหลายพันปีอันนี้
They might date back to 100,000 years ago. It's not only about the claim; it's about the reference to the primitive technology that we used 10 years or 100 or 1,000 years ago. If you do have this information, I think you have to include this information into your presentation. And because you should ask the elderly people what kind of other primitive old technology they are used for the pottery. First of all, you need to refer to legend, to memory, and the use of old technology that I feel is still lacking in your presentation. This is my comment.
อาจารย์ดิติตา
ขอบใจหลายๆค่ะ
Thank you.
Mr. Mark, would you like to take the next one, please?
Yeah, sure. Well, well done to the team. Congratulations. Another interesting topic, pottery. I mean, personally, I'm not going to comment about the techniques. I think we've had all we've had the expertise from Parita there. So yeah, very insightful that is as well. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the presentation, I think maybe the time became an issue, and so I think what we really wanted to get at after seeing the processes in a lot of detail was the actual activities and the outcomes and things like that, and I think we had to go through that quite quickly. So yeah, so I think that's a point that I would make. I mean, yeah, timing is always very difficult on presentations, and and the purpose that the Parita mentioned. I was lost and really on the actual what we were trying to preserve. But when you link it to the story, there's a great story there which needs to sort of be front and center of the project. But really good work. I mean, what I will say though is just more generally, because obviously I've been involved in working with young people, fortunately in Seng Kuang for over 10 years now. So I mean, I'm just so impressed with the knowledge and the passion and the creativity that's come from everybody involved today. So everyone should give themselves a great well done to the talent. I mean, I know it's difficult because opportunities are limited, but the young people here are so talented, in Lao, and I've seen this from around the country, and you guys are just a snapshot of what's actually out there. So I think what that sort of leads on to is something that came up in a lot of presentations, and Jitendra mentioned, this young people not being interested. And I think that is the sort of theme that's run through a lot of the traditions. And on what Jitendra said, I think is that maybe it's not that they're not interested; they don't have the opportunity or the knowledge, and they need So what I'm sort of saying is, you guys can be mentors to other people as well. So you've got your teams, you've all done great jobs. I mean, always say to our students, our young people, you never finish at Lone Buffalo, because your job then is to come back and inspire others, and that's why our alumni are so important to what we do at Lone Buffalo. They're all involved in various bits and pieces, whether they're sports coaches or whatever. So yeah, so remember your role. You've all done great. Just remember your role to try and encourage others to become involved, because maybe someone finds a song, a boring tradition, yeah. But if you give them the opportunity to be creative with it, to maybe to market it in a different way, or to be involved in filming or data collection, all these sort of things. Just by getting someone involved in some way, they will start to take pride in that particular, in that project, in that issue, and then you're starting to reverse that thing about people not being interested. So if you can involve people in your project, give them the opportunities, to use whatever skills they have, and and contribute that to your projects. So yeah, I mean, we're all fighting against a developing world and a digital world and everything, and these traditions are so important. And coming from my my experience as a tour leader, I know how much seeing these things means to people, and that's why people come to places like beautiful Laos, because they know all these things still exist here. So we've all got a responsibility. But what I'm saying is, mentors, you're now, you can, group leaders or those people involved in in presentations, you can now be mentors for other people. Encourage them to take a different issue. So yeah, so I just want to say, well done, everybody. So congratulations to everyone involved, and the whole team behind this has been so brilliantly managed. And the mentor, I mean, it's great. I mean, just brilliant. Well done, UNESCO. Well done for everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark, for all of your comments and very inspiring words. Now, ท่านแสงทองคะ your last comments for today for this project, please.
Once again, very good afternoon. I also would like to thank the team for presenting the pottery in Baan Chan village. So overall, I also agree with the data that was presented, because Baan Chan is a village that has produced pottery for many years. So one important aspect, because they produce burnt clay to produce the tiles for the house in the heritage site, which is important contribution, because there needs to have the clay tiles for the house in the World Heritage Site. So overall, in terms of the transmission of the know-how, what I observe, they have expanded their activities and the products. They have a diversity of products. I also agree with the team that the team need to add about the background information about the value, the importance of the pottery in Baan Chan village, to see the specific value of the pottery in Baan Chan. What is different from other area? How are they different from other areas? Please, the team, please dig deeper. Also, would like to request the team to separate the pottery in different types. For example, what kind of pottery has been used for a daily basis, for the ceremony, what kind of pottery are used for the decoration. So please classify different types of the pottery to see the significance and the value of each type of pottery. A couple of comments is about the risk as presented presented by the team. Which one about the earth or the clay? Now the source of clay is now it become less and less, so we can. So we need to discuss further with the community and the local authority how we should address the issues of the land. The second concern. So recently, the modern products has, for example, electric woven or electric oven or the modern tools. If the pottery product doesn't have the quality, of course, the role of the wheels will be less important. The second point, the use of logs for burning because we need to use natural logs to burn the pottery. Is not a risk for the future of the potteries. So I would like to request the mentor, the coacher, and the teachers, and the project, and also all the participants of this meeting to assist, to find another alternative instead of using the log. Or we can use a charcoal or electricity. Or we need to find a way how new means of production. But we still keep the mean of production, but we change the way we burn to reduce the use of the logs. So I think that the last presentation was really pretty good.
ใช่ค่ะท่านแสงทอง and
Thank you, Mr. แสงทอง ขอขอบใจ
and the team members would take it on forward. Right, so we're coming to an end of the presentations. We are listening to 15 teams without feeling tired at all, are we? I think it's because we are all passionate about this work, and we ourselves also taking joys in listening to all of the young presenters. So on behalf of our Lao groups, we would like to express our heartfelt thanks to all the commentators and collaborators for your sincere, insightful, technical, and very